Hello and welcome to week 12, the final week of the Stronger Bodyweight Workout Series 2. And here we are back in San Diego at the San Diego United Training Center to wrap up our training and also attempt these goals. I'm feeling pretty pumped being at San Diego again. This training center was probably my favorite of the series. I think I really like it biasly. I love the air track. Nothing to do with Stronger, but I love the air track. The training facilities here are really good and it's a really great environment too. Everyone here is awesome. Everyone here is really supportive. So that's going to come in handy a lot when we actually attempt the goals and get everyone around us to really cheer us on and support us. So going into this final week, it's the same thing actually as week 11. It's those intense training sessions, but they're not happening as often. We're kicking off this week with something pretty simple, just trunk work capacity and cuff capacity today, and then some much needed stretching afterwards. Comparing it to how we felt before we flew out to the States, feeling a little bit more tight, and some much needed stretching would do me a world of good going into the goal session for next week. So without further ado, let's smash this core work and the cuff work and then get some stretching underway. Ollie's here. Particularly hard today.
Not hard.
Yeah.
I think over with that one, the one that we did on the pole, I was actively flexing my butt the whole time, and I think it was different to last time where I tended to forget about it. So activating with glutes increased the difficulty and the quality of the exercise.
We're doing Cuban press now, moving on to our cuff capacity. Here it is. We found a barbell in a gymnastics center, which seems to be a rarity of our journey around the States, but we've got one. Initially, I was gripping in here, but you really do want to achieve that right angle with your arms to get the proper workout on the rotator cuff, so I'm gripping on the outside of the weight plate. Oh God. It tests rotator cuff, it tests grip, it tests being bored during an exercise, and it's a balancing act. Yes! I'll be doing this again later in the week, but this will be the last drawing sword you see for the Stronger series. So it's a solemn and sad day for everyone here. It's over. It's all over. We're back in San Diego, which means ideal conditions. We've got the 5-pound dumbbells. The good thing about these, or bad thing, depends on your opinion, is that it's a thicker bulb at the end of the dumbbell, which means technically you do have to have it higher off the ground compared to the dumbbells you saw us use at one of the weights gyms where the actual plate was completely flat. You have to be pressing that little bit higher, which is a good thing really, because it's pushing you to have a stronger rotator cuff. Welcome to the goals session. Much different to the play session because we are specifically attempting goals today. Here we are outside with the Strongermobile. This baby's taken us all around California. It's been so good. So I thought I'd do a little intro for the goals session today with this beast in shot because it deserves some recognition. It's also massive.
With this beast, I'm just gonna dent it. Yes!
So how we've ordered it today is Lachlan's just done all of his goal attempts. He's completed them, everything he wanted to do today, and I sat back. And now that he's finished, it's now my turn to do all the goal attempts, and he's finished, so he'll be able to film whenever I need. I'm feeling a little bit, what's the word? A little bit like I'm lacking energy, like I would like to have had a meal in me about 2 hours ago, rather than 5.
A little bit lethargic, but you have a special trick up your sleeve to combat that tiredness.
That's right, guys. If you're ever hungry, have pre-workout instead. We have Dr. Jekyll. Now, this is a pre-workout I've heard about.
That looks pretty nice.
Dr. Jekyll has a split personality. Mr. Hyde, who is the psychopath, he seems like a murderer. So, naturally, Mr. Hyde is the stimulant part of the pre-workout, the crazy side. But Dr. Jekyll is more for your strength gains. It's going to help reduce muscle fatigue. It's going to help optimize blood flow to the muscles. So this is my first time taking it, and it was recommended by Ollie. It's his pre-workout of choice. That tastes really good, actually. Oh, yummy, yummy, yums.
What a great supplement review. Yep, it's yum. For me, at least, a good pre-workout has the effect of being excited and happy. And yeah, just feeling good, which is what I felt having this.
It's a bit sandy,
yeah,
texture-wise. I'm going to put some BCAAs in with it for that extra zazz. Oh, and the combination is yum. Yeah. Going to warm up for about 20-30 minutes now. And much like this beast here, I'm going to try and beast this workout and achieve some goals today. So I'm thinking the froggy, the straddle, the bent-legged, Lachlan spot, and then go for the good planche. Didn't lie about those Jekyll tingles.
Based on my last planche attempt session, I'd go for it now because that's very similar to full planche. So I'd say you're warmed up and ready.
Yep.
So if I spot you, you're going to lose a bit of energy. So utilize your maximum effort. Give it the best way you got right now.
Right.
Excited, guys.
The idea of attempting the goals is to get as much positive pressure on yourself as you can. So we're in an awesome gym, awesome environment, and now we've got the audience of awesome people right here to cheer. That was the best one I've ever done, actually. It wasn't a solid hold, but that was the best negative I've ever done. I have the audience to thank for that, so thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, Jake.
That's what we're going to do, under pressure. If this guy can go down that slowly with these legs, these guys have no excuse. Yeah.
Right, go Nicky. Right. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. Moving on, we're going to try some impossible dips now. I'm feeling like this could be a really good set, given that exercise I discovered last week in LA, where I had the block there, I was able to press up. I'm hoping it's giving me the true feeling of impossible dip, and I can do it now, get the goal, or from a slight kick. Whilst I've got the injury and it's very important to build up strength back in that adductor again, I'm taking a page out of Yuri's book of recommendations and trying a passive stretch. I was feeling a little bit of a challenge in the adductor there on that injured side, so I'll back off just a little bit more at the start, and as I start to get more and more comfortable, I can hold it for a little bit longer.
I also think you really benefit from more pancake work as well, because that seems to be your weakness, at least compared to your middle foot. I just think it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because you're really good, you've got great mobility in one position, but if you move your hips slightly, then you're nowhere near. So like just in the terms of a safe stretch, I would highly suggest it so that you can move around and you're not sensitive to different minor movements.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's the next day since that amazing goals session that pretty much saw my best. It's funny, I want to say the best planche ever, but there was no solid planche hold there. But it was certainly the best negative I've done, that's for sure, and the closest I've ever felt to a full planche. You also might notice my voice sounds a little bit more nasally or deeper, like I've got a cold. I think that's one of the reasons why you heard me mentioning earlier how I felt run down or a bit more lethargic. It hasn't manifested with a typical cold symptoms up until now, and I think it's just a slight bug or something that I've got. We're jumping into our session today. We're back again at gymnastics conditioning and ring sequences. So I'm looking forward to that. I really want to try another one of those, the first exercise, the pike press up to handstand. Lachlan said I should be able to do it by now. I suppose I should. So I'll be attempting that to kick off today's session. Despite having this run down feeling, I feel like keeping on top of my nutrition, keeping on my training, the supplementation, it's all helped me stay that little bit stronger. I told you why I'm having the vitamin C, and partly in my head it plays, oh, this would be much worse if I wasn't taking this vitamin C right now. So hopefully that's helping as well. I still feel strong enough, definitely ready to come in and train today. The trouble is, how do I get work done trying to do that? Because there's too much shuffling around. That's why I need the squat generally, so that I can get work done in it.
You're getting too reliant on me.
So my goal for that was carry over the information I learned from goals attempts. The goal attempt last night, which was to try have the shoulders pushed down. It felt weird, just so you know when you do it. Another thing that I was hoping to correct from last week was leaning too much. So because Lachlan's spotting me, he has control of where I go, and he tended to have me lean a bit too much, more like a full planche in the bent-legged variation. So I felt like my wrist was coming off too much and I was losing control of the movement.
That was last week, yeah?
That was last week. But yeah, it had been happening a few times, so last week really just topped me off, mate. It just didn't feel realistic for the bench arm when we'd been doing it in a play session, so I really wanted to try and replicate that, and thanks, I did.
I think the most important thing with any of these is you feel the balance when you're doing it. So if he's going too far, he's not feeling the balance, it's not going to be as beneficial as feeling the right balance. And then if you want to do the bigger lean, extend the body out further. This one I was pretty much trying to let you do the negative, catch you at the bottom, and spot you right. So that's a much better way to do it, because that way you know they're balanced because they're doing it themselves.
To replicate that push down shoulder position I'm aiming for, even in something like this where it's straddle and I'm squatting. It's funny because straddle planche is quite easy for me relatively for what it is, because I can get such a wide straddle. And Lachlan made a critique for one of the swing planches that I did, so I made the straddle wider in the next one, and he was like, good. So just by opening up into that straddle position a bit wider, it made the skill easier. Just a little side note, I have that advantage. Hip cramp. I always feel, actually I've only done it twice, I feel like after the full planche attempt, or kind of maxing out the planche, it always feels fatigued the next day, which has been gymnastics conditioning. So the straddle planche there, it didn't feel weak, but it's definitely not as strong as I could be going for that skill. But I was feeling the form was changing. It wasn't exactly the same as what it was when I went into it. So I was really strict with that, especially coming out of the injury, to not push it too far just yet. But as I keep saying, I'm making gains and gains for days and days. Getting stronger, getting better every session. Much like the cross and some of the other exercises post-injury, it's taken coming over a mental barrier to get back to where I was, and the front lever and back lever are one of those exercises. When I do the front lever, I still feel that really intense feeling gripping the bar with my forearm just in there, where the injury was. The back lever I've done comfortably in the past through the series, you've seen it, but it just feels like pushing it this close to the end of the series for planche, it gets very intense on the bicep, and I can't get over that mental barrier to push it to get it every time. Alright guys, we're doing our last ring sequence. Well, the first ring sequence, but the last time. This will be last time try and kip for you. Prior to the injury, and when it was getting better, I was kipping and I was trying to go straight up, and if I failed, I just fell into the foam pit. And I found that even though I had a lot of wasted attempts, because I would just come up, well, not wasted, but I would come up and fall down because I didn't get it. It actually helped in the long run to give me that kip that just elevated me up rather than threw me into that really stretched chest position deep dip. So I know I've only got one shot at this, but I will be thinking of that when I go for the kip. Doing my impossible dips, much like I showed you guys earlier, and then Lachlan came over to help set up to film the set and told me that the bars were off. But then that gave me the idea that if they were extremely off, tilted down, it might help with the impossible dip to further feel the skill with that minor assistance. The whole idea of impossible dip has been to actually go through the skill with some help so I can build the strength to do it without it. I'm going to try to lower it just a little bit more. Right in front, yeah. Still really hard. This skill's intense. I'll have to use my feet for the rest. So I got one more set of that. So this was a good little breakthrough. I'm wondering if I increase it even more, will it just become stupid, or will it help to replicate impossible dips? That's the end of the session today, and I can tell you those dips, I realised why, it might have even been obvious to you from the start, is that raising the bar up, it just cuts the range of motion that you need to do. And the first part is the hardest, so it's not really beneficial to be cutting that range of motion. So I won't do that in the future, but I'll still be doing the exercise very similar to that, just with the bar flat to build that volume. I finished off the session with some stretching, which I'll show you in tomorrow's session. And right now, it's late at night, it's about 9:45, so going home to get some food into me, some deep tissues, some rest, and then we'll be back here in the morning for a play session. Am I recovered enough? I hope so. And the, what is it? The planche and floor circuit. And here we are at the end of week 12. And where we are right now is just before the goals session. That's right. The gym is just up there and we're getting ready to present the intro for the goals and head on up there. The session, week 12 for me was a really good week. I had that awesome full planche negative, which I did in this very gym just behind me. And full splits is getting a lot better. I made a little bit of progress with the impossible dip and I'm continuing to get that volume in for the one arm pull. What do you guys think? How do you think I'll go for next week for goals? Comment down below and I'll send something special to whoever gets 4 for 4.
Just out of interest, how have you tapered in this last week, and has anything changed significantly from, say, the week before?
Week 11 was very by the book. It was what was written in the program is what I did. And then coming into week 12, more rest for week 12. So I'm feeling a lot fresher coming into the goals session.
And you've been sick. Have you told everyone about that?
What you're watching right now is on the day of goals session. And unfortunately, I've got some kind of sickness. I think it's just a cold. It may affect me a little bit. Mentally, it doesn't affect me one bit, but just factually, I think that if you've got a cold, your immune system's a little bit weaker, and it may make me a little bit weaker, but I don't think it's going to stop me.
I think it's exciting because if he conquers these goals whilst recovering from sickness, that is super inspiring to us all.
Having this sickness or being able to document that to you is just another thing that you might not appreciate from world-class athletes and elite athletes in general, is that there's so many things that go up and down leading up to their event. Gymnastics Worlds is on right now, and we're watching the culmination of all their hard work, but we don't know the story behind each of those athletes leading up to.
Except for Niall, we know his story.
Yeah. Niall's doing well. So enough talking, I'm signing out. I'm gonna go and smash these goals, and I'll be seeing you next week right here.
It's gonna be so epic, don't miss it.
Lost my mojo. I've lost my mojo, Lachlan.